Look at this person running towards me. This is optimism right here. Hello.
I am of the pure mind of God. I am the resurrection and the life in my body, my finances, my relationships, and my world. I qualify everything in my world with perfection. I am perfection. I am this perfect day, and the life that lives in me is the light that cannot fail. I accept only God's perfection, His good, in my outer circumstances. I know in my heart that God is all in all. I am absolutely not concerned about what happens, because I know wonderful things are happening now.
Oh, greetings. You can see my environment's changed. So I moved, and yeah, new seasons, new chapters. Just a lot is shifting in this non-real illusion that we call the physical world. The life that is temporal. So what I've been learning in this season, and it's been a season of training and education and just really strengthening my resolve with the convictions in my heart that I have, with the knowledge of truth, and witnessing the demonstration of holding that truth as the simulation changes. And it really is, it's a simulation. Just like when you look at pictures and you see like a picture of something on a, piece of paper, that's really just a bunch of dots. It's just pixels. Like on a screen, you see a bunch of pixels. If you were to just zoom in so close, you'd see just these little pixels. There is no actual picture of anything there. It's just pixels, and if you zoom in even closer, it's just empty space, empty space, empty space. And so if you zoom in real close on what's happening in your life, there's empty space. It's the zero. Looking through the world, you see the world. It's the zero. And once we begin to walk in the light of truth, which means to walk not by human sight, but by wisdom and understanding, then we begin to bring the one into being through our reflective consciousness of truth. The one becomes manifest through us as our surroundings. And so expect your life to change. You will level up. So I'm going to talk about some stuff tonight. I'm going to talk about the things that are real, the authentic living, okay? This is not the, let's pretend to be what we're not. Let's just be what we are. Let's walk in wisdom. And let's recognize the real from the unreal. And there we'll find the gold in the gospel. So let me take you back. You may have been following our ministry for a day, maybe a year, maybe it's been several years. We've been going since 2018. I began this ministry with Sabrina. And as I mentioned a couple months ago, when I met Sabrina, it was one of the most magical times in my life. A new chapter began. And it was a season of building a family. It was a season of spiritual growth. And there's something magic, really magic about this woman. She really is just heart and soul just a good woman. And I love that woman. And I always will. And I know she feels the same way about me. Now, over the course of years, many, many years, we began recognizing that we have just different aspirations, different things that we like to do when we're not with our children. Things that make our heart sing began emerging in separate venues. And so since 2012, we've always had two separate homes, and we've always lived separately. Many people don't know that through the ministry. There's only been short durations of time that we actually lived together. So during that process, we found that it worked for us to find our groove. Especially in my worldview, I needed to find my flow. And that required a lot of alone time. I had to really discipline my thought so that I could enter the state of just opening up the midbrain, literally channeling, whether it was writing or speaking. And Sabrina always supported me throughout that whole process by letting me be me. And we had conversations along the way. And the conclusion is that we finished our chapter together as a couple. And that happened quite some time ago. And there's still some bumps in the road, and there's still some emotions that are felt here and there, as to be expected. But at the end of the day, when you know that you respect someone, and you know that you love them truly, and you know that their happiest place is somewhere distant from where your happiest place is, you let them go. And so Sabrina and I let each other go, and we did that in probably the most genuine way that you could do it. And so we have come to the place of newness, new seasons, new experiences, even new partners. And happiness comes from that new space. And it takes a lot of courage for me to talk about this with people in this ministry, because a lot of people really do resonate with the idea of Sabrina and I as a team and as a unit. And we are that unit, and we are that team. But for our children, we operate in that capacity for our children. We don't operate in that capacity anymore with business or with our personal interactions. And it's something that I just wanted to be humble about and just vulnerable and just say, hey, this is what is actually happening. And so all I would ask is that, if you like the teachings and you like what we do, just support both of us, because we're both going through the same so-called human experience as everyone else. And along with that, when you start getting into really being authentic and finding the true nature of you, a lot of things in your life begin to shift rapidly. I'm not the same person I was when Sabrina and I fell in love nearly 2 decades ago. And Sabrina's not the same person she was. And I know that those who listen to us can appreciate that. Because when you're on this journey, the human model of how things are supposed to work is not the operating system of divine wisdom. I can say that bluntly because I know for a fact that when you think you've got it figured out because you're following the footsteps of what the traditions of mortals have put in front of you, ultimately, it's going to lead you to a place where growth is no longer going to take place. You have to undo all of these traditions and undo even the personal longing for self-preservation, personality, self. All of these things have to go. And once you let go of these things one at a time, and then more, the person that God designed you to be, the life that God gave you, becomes more clear. You're not living in the delusion of the 5 senses anymore, reasoning for what you think is the destiny you were chosen for. It begins to find you. It becomes known to you in the absence of who you aren't. Who you aren't is not who you is. You get what I'm saying? And who you is, I say is because God is all, and you is God's reflection. And so once you get rid of all of that conditioning of your personal history, of, oh, this is how I grew up, and this is what I like, it's like people don't know what they like what they know. And so unless you make the unconscious conscious, it becomes destiny, and you end up being with somebody unconsciously to work out the patterns in your life that bring you to the place of sovereignty within the I, within the self within. No partner is required at the end of the day. And when you get to that space, when you're just happy being with yourself, and you are coming from that, new stuff is going to start happening. And so along with that, my apologies for the noise on the highway. But along with this, there will be new people, if you still believe in persons, conditions, and qualities of good and evil out there. There will be new manifestations that show up to reflect what God is, because your consciousness has changed. And so in the new consciousness that is my new world, literally, I literally have a new surrounding. Everything is different. Everything has changed. And so, with that said, I'm going to introduce you to somebody in this video who is someone along the journey with me right now. And this is where my joy is, and this is where my ministry is, and this is where it's going. And so I ask you just to be just to be open to new possibilities. And this may be troubling or upsetting to some people. They may say, oh, I just knew it. I just knew it. He's dating someone else. He's moved on. And if that's you, well, then take it for what it is. That's actually a reflection of your consciousness. That's actually something within you. I'm not going to own that because it's you working out your own conflict within you. Because when you judge another, you're actually seeing yourself. And if you see yourself that way, then the ugly that you see is not out there, it's in your thought. You change your ideas in your thought about people, and then you bring about the peace and the harmony that you're looking for. So as long as you keep judging people, you keep seeing your consciousness that is ready for transformation. So all I ask for you is to look at it from a position of, well, what is God knowing to be true about this union of love between two souls that have been placed together in divine order? And I can tell you the stories at another time because, similar to how Sabrina and I were together, and it was like the hand of destiny. It was an impossible strategic scenario that aligned everything for us to join together. The same happened for me in this new dynamic with Michelle. And before I bring her on, I'll just tell you a little bit about her. And, just so you know, this isn't like, hey, look at how great Michelle is and, comparing apples to oranges. No, this is not. I can't emphasize enough how much I love and care for Sabrina. I would lay down my life for Sabrina in a New York minute. There is nothing that I regret about ever meeting Sabrina and having a family. That's the best of all worlds combined during the moments that we shared together. And so till death do us part, well, the personality that was there in that moment is dead. There was a death and a new beginning for both of us. And it happened strategically over many years, but then all at once, after a long time, it just all at once changed. And one thing Sabrina said to me the other day that made my heart just filled with joy is she shared with me somebody that she's, with, dating perhaps. And she said, Matthew, I'm so happy. I am so happy now. And that makes my heart happy. It really does. If you love somebody, you want them to be happy. I'm happy, and she's happy. So at the end of the day, we have two people that have found happiness and a sense of loving relationships that elevated the joy that we were experiencing. And so if you can see it for that, and you can comprehend that, hey, listen, maybe there is something to this that I have yet to discern, then I invite you on a journey to come along over the next several chapters of this ministry. And I also encourage you to keep following what Sabrina's doing. If she wants to pour into you, then you should do that. I still reach out to Sabrina during some of the moments when I really look to her for some of her wisdom. You have to understand that that didn't change. That's what actually was in the relationship, is what I'm saying. The foundation of our relationship is that she was there to save my life during the time when I needed to grow spiritually and rise out of the ashes of defeat. And she knew it from the beginning. And she said, listen, when I met you, she goes, you know why I tried to break up with you? She said, because I knew what you were going to go through. She says, and I knew how hard it was going to be, but I knew that I needed to be there for you so you could get through it and you wouldn't be alone. And that's a fact. And that is an absolute fact. And by the grace of God, we have 3 children that are absolutely loved and beautiful, and they're having a joyful experience. They love the new that's going on. They love the new. So there's harmony. See, at the end of the day, the fruit is harmony. And so you know God by the fruits, okay? So it's kind of like a band that was together, and I think we made some awesome music. I loved our music. I love our music. And now we've decided to form separate bands. And there may be time to time we might cameo together in workshops. We might, do that again. But we also have a new caliber of music that's coming out. We have evolved. We died to our old selves. And so the death do us part happened. We died to our old selves. And so with that said, I'll bring Michelle on here in a few moments and I'll tell you a little bit about her. Michelle is a pianist and a vocalist, and she plays in several of the churches around this area. And as you get to know her more, you'll see the wisdom and the heart that she has. And I've been learning a lot from her in these last few months, and experiencing a lot of new ideas and ideologies that are coming in terms of my growth in my ministry. And God's really putting a finger on me to really learn relationships, to come out of the isolation that I was in, which was also serving me because it gave me the time to really devour things that I was reading and learning and spend hours alone. I loved being alone. I loved it. And I can tell you that for the past few months, I have not spent as much time with people as I have in the last 10 years. I'm around people all the time now. And that's where the real wisdom has to be applied. It can't be applied when you're just sitting in the silence all day. You have to be under the condition of people, circumstances, and qualities confronting you all the time so that you can be the light in the world. The light can't be hidden in a pocket somewhere remotely behind closed doors. You have to get out and you have to embrace what's right in front of you. And where we're going is we're going to the revelation that all that is in front of us is the presence of God. We've moved past the idea that the outer is an empty carcass. We got that. What you see, smell, hear, taste, and touch is an illusion of the 5 senses. We got that. What happens now is we embrace the kingdom that is here and we live in the joy. And so my new book titled Love, Living the Good Life is built on the new relationship and the continuation of the relationship that I have with Sabrina in the capacity that we are in. And it's learning how to live our best lives, the most satisfying and complete versions of ourselves, and being willing to say yes to what God is doing, even if it doesn't line up with what mortals believe should be done. Everybody has a belief of what they should do and what life should look like. And what I've discovered is that when you are being authentically you, that's where prosperity is. And when you are not being authentically you, that's when you get stuck, spiritually speaking. The growth ceases. And so, one thing I have in common with Michelle that we both really, really love is we are growing together spiritually. That's what we're committed to. And so out of that space, I would like to minister to you in these next chapters out of this space. And whatever God is doing, we will embrace it in the moment. So for the past 9 months, Michelle has been actively part of my life. And so a lot of the teachings that you've seen come out in the last 9 months, if you like these teachings, they're coming from the space. And they're also coming from the space of readjusting things between Sabrina and I to a space where we felt from the beginning was our true abode. We're sort of like brother and sister. And maybe spiritually speaking, we are brother and sister. And we have that love and that respect for each other. Now, in addition to that, there's more. There's more in store. There's more love to come. And I want to share that love with you. I want to share from that space where this is all going, where this has been coming from. So, if you want to check out of this ministry because you can't stomach the new and what's coming, I totally understand. I get where you may be coming from, and I don't have any judgments against it whatsoever. And if you like what's been coming out of the ministry in the past 9 months, that's been the new me. You've been getting glimpses of me becoming more aligned with who I am. And you may have noticed the same even with Sabrina, because Sabrina is becoming more of who Sabrina always wanted to be. We finished a karmic cycle. We finished a karmic relationship. And we set each other in our own proper place so that we can be free to choose the appropriate dynamic. Vowel and 2 consonants means no contract, so I didn't say appropriate. I said appropriate appropriate context. There you go. Appropriate. I want to make sure I choose my words a little more wisely, because when you speak, you do create. So, I'm going to cut the video now, and I'm going to meet up with Michelle, and this will be our first introduction, and I just want you to see what has been already happening that's been transforming my reality and helping develop the teachings and bring about what is happening, what's new. And I want to share that with you, and I want to bring that forward within this ministry. And if you want to join with us and you like what's been coming, then I celebrate you being a part of it, and I want you to be part of this love. It's inclusive. It is not exclusive. It is not cast another out because here's what happened. It's inclusive, and it's evolving, and it's changing. Are you out of breath?
Yeah, you take my breath away.
Oh, good Lord. Starting with the lines already. Okay. So, this is our first video together. This is fun. So, what should we talk about tonight for our inauguration video into the new Jerusalem reality that we live in right now?
I think we should just put it out there, just the truth.
Yep.
About you and peanut butter.
The truth about me and peanut butter?
Yeah.
Nobody gets to know the truth about me and peanut butter. I'm exposed.
I had to pick some up, and my son was like, how does that happen? We had like two full jars like 2 weeks ago. How do we go through that much peanut butter?
Does he not know?
I said, well, I'm gonna blame that one on Matthew.
I think I need to buy like a 12-pack of peanut butter next time.
So I said, I have to tell you a little something. I mean, everybody's got their quirks, you know? And maybe that's our thing, you know, being comfortable with our quirks. So,
well, as long as you're comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it.
well, I mean, I shared it with Ephraim and I said, you know, I think he's got a thing for peanut butter. he's like, yeah, but really, he's like, Mom, that's a lot of peanut butter. Really? He's like, how does that even happen? Like, I can't even imagine.
It happens by the tablespoon.
So, yeah, he's like, how does he eat that peanut butter? I said, well, yeah, I mean, I think there's times when he just, you know, takes a big spoon and, you know, he's like, really? I was like, well, I suppose. He's like, it's good in protein, so.
You know, he's going to start doing that now.
All of a sudden.
He's going to be like, I think that's how you get
And
big
he's
muscle.
going to blame it on you.
Yeah. He's going to
Like, I
just
don't know.
keep a jar of peanut butter with his initials on it. So,
Must be Matthew.
yep.
So I dropped him off and he's like, yeah, well, he's like, I think when we get back, I'm just going to have to talk with Matthew about this whole peanut butter thing. So he's got questions.
Oh boy. I'm going to have to explain myself with peanut butter. That's a long story, but I'm going to have to prepare for this.
He's really beside himself.
I bet he is. I bet you he doesn't understand. Having gone one sandwich at a time, he doesn't realize
It's quite perplexing.
what I'm capable of with peanut butter.
He's like, when? He's like, I never see him eat the peanut butter. I'm
Oh.
like, yeah, it's like a.
See,
You know,
you're
it's a
not
thing.
you're not watching. You're not watching close enough. Like a ninja, sneak into the jar and just carry my spoon over my back. I have a special spoon. It's the size of like a football. So
So,
there's your pro tip for fitness, everybody. Is peanut butter is the ultimate fitness food. At least that's what I tell myself. Well, that was a good way to break the ice.
yeah,
Now everybody knows the secret about me and peanut butter.
yeah. And, you know, all of our quirks.
Yes.
So what would you say is one of my quirks?
Oh, your hands. They can't see your hands right now, but you know, it's like how you play the piano. And one of the first things I noticed when I sat and watched you play the piano was I never seen anybody move their hands so fast to turn that page. But it was the playing and the singing, and then there was this whoosh, and the page just turned, and I said, well, how did you do that? I was like, that's like a karate move or something. And you're just the way that you move your hands is it's magic. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It drives some people nuts. I talk a lot with my hands,
that's good.
you know?
That's right. You talk with your hands, and I listen with your hands. I listen to your hands. So that's my love language, is touch. Obviously, kinesthetic. That's my intuitive, because I lead with kinesthetic, and then I pick up visual and then auditory, and that's how I've trained myself to be intuitive. And so I pay attention to what those hands are doing. All right, so let's just not engage with cars. And switch. Okay. All right. So I was telling them a little bit about love and living the good life, and maybe we should tell them a little bit about our trip to Florida. What do you think of the car ride, remember?
Wow.
Certain parts of the car ride, maybe.
How long of a drive was it total? We did it in 2 days.
24 hours.
Oh, you know what? With all our stops and, you know, all of your fun Brando
Rondo.
that you got with electrolytes, you know, those necessary electrolyte drinks.
That's from the
So-
movie, what movie? Idiocracy. Rondo.
So with all of our stops,
Yeah.
it's about what? I'd say 24 hours.
24 hours.
And we did what? We didn't break it up evenly. One day we did, I don't know, or did we? Do you think we did average?
10 hours is what you did the first day, I think.
Yeah.
I think I did about 2.5, 3 of those hours maybe. No, I did about 2. You did about the rest.
I rocked the driving.
You sure did.
Yep.
And I was convinced that there's no way we were going to make the trip before we went. I've never been on a trip that long and been that comfortable. Usually I would have been pretty perplexed with myself about 3 hours in, thinking, when are we going to stop again? When are we going to stop again? Every hour we had to stop. But we did it somehow. So what were some of the highlights that you remember on that trip?
The first highlight was actually just leaving with you. Truth be told, I haven't told you this yet, but I was pretty sure you were like on the fence of just going or not going up until the very last minute.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to my friend Laura, and I said, yeah, I mean, I'm all packed. I'm hoping we're going to go, and we're supposed to leave in about an hour, but I'm not exactly sure if it's going to happen or not. And I think if he just decides not to go, well, then I think I'm going to go to Florida by myself. And she's like, all right, girl.
She's going with it without me.
Either way, you're going to have fun. And I'm like, yeah. So, but you did show up. And leaving with you was, great. I've really been wanting some time with you.
I really enjoyed it.
So it was good, that first night. That's not really my style of traveling. My style of traveling is to have everything all planned out. Not necessarily hour by hour, but the big ticket, things. Yeah, so not having like a hotel room reserved for that first night secretly was freaking me out, but I was really trying not to show it. And I think I did a pretty good job of not really showing it. But I mean, I just kept driving. Just kept driving and driving.
At least we didn't run into any challenges.
And yeah, I mean, my vehicle was good.
Hotels being booked everywhere.
So yeah, how many places did we call or stop by?
Probably about 5.
And so, if you can imagine, yeah, it was a little frustrating.
Who knew that everybody was traveling that week to Florida?
I mean, I had my,
She had her logic with her, and and me, I just don't use it at all. So it's this is a good balance because.
So yeah. But I have patience too.
That's good. Yes.
So he'll figure it out. And we'll figure it out, and we'll find a place. So we did. We found a place, and it wasn't bad, right?
I thought it was fine for the 4 or 5 hours or whatever. We had to take a quick get some shut eye because we needed that. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of driving.
Mhm. Yeah. And the second day, on our way down, it was a challenge. Just to sit for a while in a vehicle. But the weather was beautiful for the most part, right?
Oh, it just got nicer and nicer as we got closer to this, south. Mm-hmm. And I noticed the bathrooms along the way were getting worse by the hour. We've got excellent bathrooms. Quick Trip in Wisconsin is the place to be. Mm-hmm. Quick Trips are just perfect, and they build new ones and they're so bougie. Mm-hmm. But as we got further south, it was like I couldn't tell whether it was a head shop or a bathroom because it was all, smoking paraphernalia and no mirrors in the bathroom. Everything was dirty and urine everywhere, and I thought, man, this is getting rough. So, but we had a great time.
And we played some games.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, I had some would you rather questions along the way and some.
Oh, I love playing those games.
Reflective questions, and
I think that's the key, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think our relationship really brings out the most? Like, is it the growth or the reflection and both? What do you think?
Yeah, I think both of us are pretty reflective. I think that's
Yep.
huge. We're similar, but yet we're really different.
Yeah.
And I think you and I are also very accepting of things that are different.
Yep.
And like your quirky peanut butter habit. Somebody might be like judgmental.
That might be a
and
deal
be
breaker
like,
for some
that
people.
It could be like, no,
Yeah.
I can't deal with your peanut butter habit. It's just not right. You're out.
Could I take the peanut butter with me at least?
But, we have a need to feel accepted in our relationships. And that need for acceptance is huge and possibly the highest, important aspect for some people. And it definitely is for me up on my list. And I really need to feel accepted. And I do. I feel very accepted by you.
Oh, good. Well, you should feel accepted because every day the thing that astounds me the most is, when we are confronted with each other's differences, I notice how I see the value in it, and I am very humbled by it because I recognize that it's the completion of, I'm like one half of the equation, and there's a whole nother fundamental component that I must embrace to find my true happiness. And that's the way that I've been noticing it. And it brings out the better version of me. A more fulfilled, happier, just learning and growing. Actually, it's very, I'd say humility is the number one fruit that I've been able to grow with. Have you noticed that with me, or what have you noticed? Besides the peanut butter. She's like, she's not humble at all. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, I think you've grown. I think I put it out there pretty early on that anybody who's going to be with me has to be humble. It's a core value of mine for sure, and it's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, I have a lot of patience, but I don't have a lot of patience for ego.
Yeah.
Which I would say, would you say that's the opposite of humility?
Yeah, arrogance.
Arrogance.
Truly is.
Coming from ego.
Yes.
Which
comes from pain that's not resolved yet. Yep.
So then healing needs to happen to get to that point. That's a step towards humility, if you think about it that way.
Yeah. It is, and it's a fun journey if you have the right companion and you're willing to accept that you're not perfect yet. Well, you are in spirit, we know this, but you have to learn the lessons. So it's been good, and you are very humble. So you guys will see one day if I can ever convince her to sing and play and all these things. Just a lot of talent, much more talent than I have, but yet so reserved and laid back about it that it's pretty amazing.
I would say one of your biggest areas that I've seen growth in, and I knew that this was going to happen, is your feeling of being comfortable in your own skin, your own self-acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's because you feel accepted by me, but I could tell from the first few times we met, there was a certain level of, just not completely putting yourself out there.
Yep.
Not feeling comfortable sharing a lot of who you really were, like those quirks,
Yep.
right away. I think you were willing to share information, but not necessarily those vulnerable parts.
Yeah.
And that's hard, and that does take courage, and it takes time and trust. But I see you growing into your own self-acceptance more and more.
Yep.
Yeah. Even just the way you walk around the house, you know. When we were first together, it was very light feet.
Light feet?
Very light feet.
I wasn't stepping down and grounding myself.
Like, and now now I can hear your feet.
I was like a ghost just traveling through the hallways.
Well, with every step, you're like, is this okay? Is this okay? Is everybody okay with this? And you're very sensitive, and so a lot of you is just, you know, monitoring what other people's reactions and responses are. You know, are you okay with this? Is this okay? Kind of tiptoeing around and seeing what kind of response you get. Not to an extreme degree, but, you know, enough for me to notice.
Yeah.
But I'm very sensitive in that way too.
Yeah. Well, you pick up a lot. I mean, you're so perceptive. I really learned so much from reflecting with you that I think I've had quantum growth. More growth in the 9 months that we've been doing this than in my whole life, probably, in terms of relationships. You know? That for me is a big thing. And I was talking about that before you got on the show, is that I was literally hiding in my space alone. Like, I don't need anybody. I'm cool. I could just sit here forever. And that was the part that you've noticed, for the tiptoeing. It's like, I'm not really here anyway. I'm just tiptoeing through here, and just nobody sees me. I'm invisible. Just oh, that's been fun. Yeah.
Well, I see you.
You do, and I see you too. Yeah, it's been amazing. It really has, and it really is. You know, meeting you has been something that I wasn't even expecting. I honestly didn't know that it was actually possible. I didn't know that you could fit the type of growth that we have and the relationship that we have in this type of environment, you know, with everything that's going on in the outer, with the chaos and all the stuff that, you know, people talk about and they're seeing. And I didn't know that we could exist in that space together like that, or that even you would be there. So for me, it was pretty amazing.
And for me as well. Yeah, I met you at a time where I was very sure on my direction, that I'm here. I'm not here to waste time, but I am here to really freely give and receive love. And that's where I'm at. That's my mission. I want that.
You've been so good at it.
I'm ready.
You've been consistent and congruent the whole time.
But yet there's been a lot of healing that I didn't even know needed to take place for me since I've known you too.
I think that's just a natural byproduct of stepping into this new us.
Yeah, and letting go the old conditioning, letting go the hurt from past, letting go some of those patterns that you found yourself in, and really reflecting and questioning and asking, is this who I am now? Is this where I want to go? Is this the best version of myself?
Yeah. I like what you just said there, the best version of myself. And being committed to that. I think that's when we've had some moments where, you know, I've these triggers that I work through, apparently. That's what's been my calling, is I've just remembered like what we're doing here. We're really going for the best version of ourselves. And like, wow, why would you not want to embrace that opportunity? That's the opportunity of a lifetime right there. And really what you said is, I'm here to love freely and, give love freely and receive love. What could be a higher aspiration than that? Really? And I think there's been so many miracles that have come, even for me, like letting go and just allowing that to be. That hasn't been the easiest thing in the world,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I remember this years ago when it came to just receiving abundance. I thought in the beginning, I had a scarce mentality when I was in my early 20s, and when I really learned about giving freely to receive abundance, I developed that over the course of years, and now I feel comfortable and I expect abundance. And I want to be the same way with love too, where I feel really comfortable sitting in it and just really expect it to be all that's there.
Mm-hmm.
So do you like the title of the new book, Love, Living the Good Life?
I love it.
Yep. And you're on the cover, or the back cover with me. Well, neither one of us are on the front cover, but if it were, it'd probably be this one right here. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a good book. So we're going to share stories that we are actually living. And I think that's the best way to learn, is to do it, to actually just step into it and just live it. So what do you think? We're gonna get a little bit of singing going on here, or no? We're not,
Nope.
not gonna do that tonight.
Mm-mm.
That's for another time.
No, the birds are singing. I can hear it.
That's your finely tuned ear. I've been so good at tuning everything out that I don't hear much at all yet, but it's coming. So yesterday was fun. I got to do my first workout with 2 of your boys, and I thought that was pretty amazing.
They loved it.
Yeah, and I'm very gonna tell you, but I won't tell them, but I was pretty sore today. But I can't
That's great.
I can't tell them that. I have to pretend that it was nothing, But these guys are fast. Holy moly! Middle school age. We went sprints and we did the hills, and we were just neck and neck the whole time. And I'm like, these kids are fast. Like I made it seem like we should stop for their benefit at the end. I don't want to push you guys too hard. And I'm like, whew, I gotta go home and relax a bit. It was great though.
They were talking about it today.
Yeah.
They were sizing you up. They're like, yeah, I wonder which middle school kid could beat Matthew.
There might be a few.
There's this fastest kid in the 7th grade. Maybe he'd take him.
Yeah. They're gonna be bringing them next time just to see me get beat. They're gonna be just committed to dethroning me off that fastest guy up the hill.
Yeah, we may have started something.
Yep. I felt great though to be just engaged like that, and that first night when I worked out with Ephraim, I was like, wow, this kid's got heart. This kid's got heart. I really admire that. I love that drive and that passion. Just all heart in the gym, just kept going and going and going. And I'm like, man, I don't know if we should work out this long. And I was like, well, maybe we should save some.
Ever since my kids were little, I taught them a little saying that goes like this.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Repeat after me.
Okay.
Good, better, best.
Good, better, best.
Never let it rest.
Never let it rest.
Until my good becomes better.
Until my good becomes better.
And my better becomes best.
And my better becomes best. You made that up?
No, I got it from somewhere.
Dr. Seuss?
No,
Oh.
I got it from somewhere. I don't remember.
Okay. Well,
But I loved it. I'm like, oh, I love that.
That's a really catchy one. It's hard
Isn't it?
It's hard not to remember it
All right.
yeah.
Say the whole thing with me. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
Good,
Good,
better,
better,
best.
best.
Never let it rest.
Never let it rest
Until my good
until my
becomes
good
better,
becomes better
and my better becomes best.
and my better becomes best.
There we go.
All right, now you guys have to say that and live it, because we're going to live it. Are we living that?
Well,
I think I went from good to better back to good again, but I went back to better, and now I'm trying to go for best now.
yeah. We're all a work in progress.
I was like doing a mountain climber on that one. I touched the better and I went back to the good, and then I said, wait, no, I'm supposed to go to the better and then the best.
That's right.
That's right.
And we never let it rest.
Never let it rest. But you have to remain at rest the whole time. That's the conundrum. You have to just be settled that that's the way it's going to be.
I like that.
Yeah. All right, what do you think? That's good for the first introduction for us?
We'll find out.
There's a lot more to go. All right. Good, better, best.
Never
Never
let it rest. Till my good becomes better.
Until my good becomes better
And my better becomes
and my better becomes
best.
best. All right, signing out. See you next time.